Today I'm here with Professor Michael Albert, who teaches in our Data Analytics and Decision Sciences area at the Darden School. Michael, you have a course called Machine Learning in Artificial Intelligence and Business, and you have several cases that kind of form a course module, if you will, that build on one another in difficulty. Let's talk a little bit about each of these, just briefly give a synopsis for us of University of Virginia Hospital, predicting patient discharge.
Yeah, so this is an interesting case. It sets up this problem of how can the UVA hospital system use beds more efficiently by incorporating some predictive analytics. The great thing about this case is that it has a pretty interesting data set. It's one we worked with the UVA hospital to collect. It's about 700 columns, a lot of rows, and so it's structured data, but it starts to have flavors of unstructured data. The columns are not interpretable by the students, so they really have to work with kind of machine learning, big data kind of techniques. And it lets them to build these predictive models that can then be used in a clear decision-making problem on when to start kind of doing some of the proactive discharge steps, maybe even before the doctor officially makes the discharge decision.
So one of the things that you do with students is you actually have them use artificial intelligence and large language models to help them in their programming.
That's right. So the class is based in Python. So we use Python as a tool to facilitate all of the analysis. We provide, as part of the cases, we provide starter code that's this comprehensive document that the instructor can take and modify for the students to kind of increase or decrease the level of difficulty for the programming part. In the MBA course, I provide a lot of the code for them, and they tweak around the margins a lot of times. In addition, I provide a coding assistant as part of the kind of the resources in which they program. And these coding assistants are large language model based coding assistants that really help kind of non-technical students engage with these technical tools like programming in Python.
So those are resources that are available to instructors as well?
Yes, I mean they're things that I provide as part of the case package, yes.
So building off of the learning there, we have a case called Kibit Capital.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about what advances in students' learning in this case?
Yeah, so it's a nice follow-up to the hospital discharge case in that Kibit Capital moves from structured data that we have in the hospital discharge case to unstructured data. Particularly, we're working with images. The problem is we have a local magazine that is interested in trying to figure out what is the representation in the ads in their magazine, and they have magazines going back a couple decades at this point, and they want to understand how representation has changed over time. So we use computer vision techniques to work with this unstructured data, these images, in order to build predictive models to determine whether or not the people in their ads are representative of the communities in which these magazines are published.
What I love about this case is there's sometimes an ethical component that students discover because they're analyzing demographics based on computer image.
That's right. I mean, so the students get some exposure to how these kind of computer vision techniques work and more importantly maybe don't work a lot of times. And so understanding how when we're using these kinds of advanced tools especially to measure or to affect decisions for protected attributes like race or gender can be very sensitive, and though this often comes out in the discussion.
And the third case that kind of rounds out this module is a topic that students are going to be very familiar with, and that's coffee and Yelp reviews. What can you tell us about case study coffee?
Yeah, so in this progression, we've moved from structured data that's wide to unstructured data and images, and now the next step is text. And so the goal of this case is to get students to analyze Yelp reviews for this coffee shop in Portland called Case Study Coffee, and they use large language models and various advanced natural language processing techniques to build predictive models to evaluate whether or not these Yelp reviews are useful. And so it gets students kind of experience with these cutting edge, NLP techniques. They get their hands dirty. It's a really fun case.
Thanks for taking the time to share with us today some information about some of these cases that are used in your advanced data analytics course.
Great.
I've really enjoyed it.
I have too. Thank you.
If you'd like to preview any of these cases written by Professor Albert or download any of the teaching notes for them, visit us today at dardenbusinesspublishing.com.